Alrighty, hey guys, it's Nikki here. I'm here today to do something a little bit different. I am doing a tier chart. I have never used the screen capture program that I'm using right now, so if there's a few hiccups, please pardon me. I've already stopped and started this recording once before because I screwed up the camera input. Back to the tier ranking. Today I am going to do a hopefully somewhat quick video, and I am rating the covers of books that I gave 5 stars. I'm not doing any specific cover outside of this is the cover of the copy I read. So some of them are going to be terrible, even though I know there's amazing covers out there, so please don't hate on me. It's just the cover that I read specifically for this. So I'm going to switch over now and we'll get going. Alrighty. So I'm just going to start at the top left and go from there. First one is Extinction. This was a really interesting nonfiction book that was kind of talking about how we're ruining the planet, basically, and we're going through another extinction phase. I really like the bright colors. I really like the bold skeleton and the really simple text for the title. It's not my all-time favorite, but I like it. Next is, so I'm putting it in the A rank. I don't remember if I said that. Alright, next is All Systems Red by Martha Wells. Man, these aren't awesome pictures. They're cropping them weird, but whatever. I actually think this is one of the best covers for me. If you're going to do a person on a cover, I like it like this. I'm sorry, I'm just going to drop it in S tier where it belongs, and I'll keep talking to you about it. So what I like so much about it is if you're doing a person, I like it like this. Centered, but like features covered, so you get a general idea of what their role is, but you don't necessarily see them, which I like. And I really like the background being the environment of the planet that the book takes place on. Next is The Giver. This is not a high one for me. I'm going to put it on C tier because this is the copy I read, and this is the copy that a lot of my friends read when I was growing up, and I never wanted to pick it up because it was a creepy old man, and I'm not down for that. Next is All the Light We Cannot See. This, for me, is another A tier cover. It's just a single kind of shade, color. It's blue, but all these different shades. I love the scenic kind of image of over the town where a lot of the story takes place. However, it's because it's only blue, it's not chef's kiss. It's just is what it is. It gives it a very surreal feel, which I think matches the story, but I would have preferred if it was like the colors the actual city was. Next is The Bear and the Nightingale. It's hard to see, but it's a dark forest with a pretty cozily lit cabin. And it's not bad. I'm putting it in B tier. I like the fairy tale tone to this cover. I like the coziness of the cabin. I like the forest background, even though I feel like it could have used a little bit more definition, but I totally understand why after I read the book, but the cover's not why I picked it up. Next is Children of Time, classic science fiction cover. I'm putting that up here, S tier. You got this really gorgeous artistic shot of a planet. Just that I love having the sunrise over and having the lens flare, really basic text. It is everything that I want in a hard science fiction cover. Speaking of science fiction, I have a lot of them here. Next is Ender's Game. I don't care for this cover. I don't care for any of the covers. I do like the text because it just makes me think of a very specific type and very specific era of science fiction, but nothing else about it really appeals to me. It's so dark, it's not super creative, it's just very specific to like the the school, I think is what it is, that where they train, and it's just eh. Next is Girl with All the Gifts. I know not a lot of people love this one, but I did. I love that it's yellow. I love that you have an outline of a person. It's very similar to All Systems Red. Actually, I'm bumping it up to S tier. Let's be real. You have the whole person, but you don't get a lot of detail. You just have like their outline, the silhouette, which I love, really basic text, and honestly, yellow's like one of my favorite colors, so we're gonna be seeing a lot of yellow and orange books go up there. Next is the Golem and the Genie. I actually picked this one up because of the cover, so I'm putting it in A tier. I like the suggestion, I like the architecture, I like the text. It's not as simple as a lot of the other texts on this in these top two tiers, but the text has this gives me a vibe about what kind of fantasy and what kind of tone it's going to have. It's going to have an air of mystery and an air of worldliness, and that's to me what that text font says. Next is Douglas Adams' The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's gonna be in B. It's middle. It's colorful text, but it's really readable. Just kind of weird, wacky pictures on it. I mean, I've seen some of the other covers. Some of the other covers are better, some of the other covers are worse. I picked it up because I watched the movie, not because of the cover, let's be honest. Next is Kings of the Wild. This one is one of the few exceptions to my people on book covers. I picked it up because the font makes me think of 80s bands, and you just got all these gruff, rough-looking men who are just gonna throw down. And I love the art style because it's just a little bit sketchy, it's a little bit dark, but it really tells you kind of, to me, it gave a really good indicator of the tone of the book and kind of where these men are in life. Next is going to be Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I love this book. I'm going to put this way at the front. This is my favorite cover I have. It's like a leather hardback that just has that kind of, it looks yellow here, but it's embossed golden ink, and it makes me feel so smart to have it on my shelf because it looks like it belongs in one of those old-timey libraries. Next is, Raybearer. There we go. I have to admit, as much as I love the colors, as much as I think the text is kind of cool, I absolutely hate having just a single person's face on a cover. Like, yeah, this is suggestive of the book. I get it, but it's just like, I can't do it. And I've seen some of the other covers, and it just isn't one that I love yet. Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is the next book here. I'm throwing this one in B. I love the text. I do really enjoy the picture, although it's nothing special. It just makes me think a little bit of rich people, and that's not entirely what the book is about. Next is Alice Network. This is, again, very similar to some of my S tier. It has the very basic, really easy to read text. You got the author's name right smack in the middle, which it is what it is. And you have this one isn't necessarily a silhouette, but you just have like the lone person not facing and looking out at you from the cover, which I hate. She's looking away, so you have a chance to kind of see and make kind of some judgments on her and get into Next is the Book of Lost Names. I picked it up because it had the word book in the title. And this is, while not my least favorite, it is not high on my list. You have a person, which, is whatever, but it's like a weird perspective thing with the arms, and like, I just don't like the cover. I picked it up because it's World War II historical fiction, had book in the title, and then when I read the summary, it kind of explained what the main character's role is, and I fell in love with that and her do-gooderness. It was awesome. Next is Flight Girls, another World War II. I'm going to put it up here because this one, I'm going to put it at the top of B tier because I really don't. I picked it up because of the cover, because of the title, because it was World War II historical fiction. But I feel like it's, and I like the sunrise, but I feel like, I don't know, just having 3 women on there just is not doing it for me. It's not, and I don't know why, because I definitely picked this one up because of the cover. But looking back at it now, just because I picked it up because of the cover doesn't mean it was a good cover necessarily. It's not a bad cover. There are much worse. Like this next one. It's a book to movie adaptation movie cover, which are complete garbage and I hate them, and that's all I'm gonna say. That's a great book. Terrible cover. The Hate You Give. This is another A tier for me. I love the individual person, although you kind of see her face and she does look out at you. It's not like creepy old man here staring out at you and giving you bad vibes. And this was an amazing book. Oh, look at this. We have another TV movie adaptation cover. Yeah, also terrible. I've seen some of the other covers. Most of them are pretty good, but this is the copy I read, and man, it is, not only is it an adaptation cover, but it also just has a single staring face, which I hate. Next is The Martian by Andy Weir. This is an S tier for me for very obvious reasons. It's orange, which I love, simple text, easy to read. You got a single person with no features. You just know they're part of the story. It's exactly like All Systems Red over here. You got a person in a suit, and that's it. Next is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I think this is the better cover, but I don't think either cover is awesome. I don't understand why it's like plain windows. Like the other one to me made even less sense, but we'll go with it. But I like the color scheme, like the navy blue really calls out to me. Midnight Libraries and this really nice, really easy to read text. And I like the contrast of the blue and orange. The next one, I definitely picked up because of the cover, and that is The 100 Years of Lenny and Margot. I went into my library, saw it on the recent releases shelf, and picked it up. I love the blue kind of starry it makes me think of a painting background. I love the yellow roses. They're gorgeous. Although it's not as easy to read up text, I love, in this case, the handwritten quality to it. After reading it, I think it really suits the characters that you follow, because you're not really sure if it's Lenny or Margot who would do the writing like this, and it's just calls out to the entire like artistic part of the story for me. 100% picked it up because of the cover. 100% wasn't disappointed, and it's just beautiful. Like the colors, the contrast, the white text stands out so nicely. I could go on and on and on. One that I did pick up, actually because of the synopsis, and the cover is weird as hell. It's a girl, but her hair is actually like this flood of this town. It's bizarre. It's hard to see. It's because it's cut off, but again, nice, easy to read font, but it's a hella weird cover. I will admit that. So, like, even though you know what? No, I'm gonna put it very end of B tier. Like, I feel bad putting it in C tier because it really did catch my eye, which is why I looked at the synopsis, but oof, it is hella strange. Next is The War That Saved My Life, World War II kind of middle grade historical fiction. I picked it up because of the title. I'm gonna put it kind of upper middle of C tier. Although I kind of like the art style, I understand that it's just supposed to be very simple. I'm not crazy about it. Next is Paper Menagerie. This is one of the most amazing short story collections I have ever read. But it is a very, very sterile cover for me. It's white with black printing, and you just have this single. It's very similar to like The Hate You Give. You know, I'm gonna move this up more. Yeah, like that's good. And while I love the origami tiger, it's just and the minimalism of the cover is really nice. It's not why I picked it up. I picked it up because I listened to LeVar Burton's LeVar Burton Reads, a podcast where he reads adult short stories to an audience, and he read a couple of stories out of here, and I got the collection, and I loved them all. So, like, cool cover, but not awesome cover. Or a super awesome cover. Next is We Ride Upon Sticks by Quan. I'm gonna stick this at the top of C tier. I did not pick this up because of the cover. The cover is very minimalist. I like the bright colors, but it doesn't have all the things I like in a cover. It doesn't have this cool person silhouette without being just a face. It's not as artsy as the 100 Years of Lenny and Margot. It doesn't have the cool vibes like Children of Time or Kings of the Wild, and it's not a leather-bound book like Pride and Prejudice. So loved the story, loved the book, really did. Had a hard time getting, but it wasn't because of the cover. The cover's okay. Yeah, I feel bad putting it down there. The cover's okay. It's in B tier. Where now I see I've taken about 20 minutes here, which is about as much as I expected. Next is World War Z. I, thank goodness, did not read the movie adaptation cover. My husband has one of the original covers. This one is going to go at the bottom of A tier. I'm going to put it just above The Hate You Give. I really enjoy the way it feels like a secret document. Like you have like the burned kind of bloody paper, you have the dark stamp of the text. I don't know, there's something about it that just feels really grungy and rusty, and like it really set the tone for me going in. But that's it. That's all. I will include a still image of the the capture at the end here. I'll go back real quick. That was 28 books. I think that was 28 books. Maybe it wasn't. And other than a few outstanding, I largely enjoy the covers. Not as much as I necessarily enjoy all the books, but I enjoy all the covers. So with that, I'll leave you here, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.